start.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy FiLtHYSwoLe. I got another Real Talk. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And yeah, please subscribe, like, and put on your notifications. More to come. And yeah, this is JoJo here. And we know what? We're going to get into it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Sorry, it's a beautiful day. I got a little distracted.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're sorry. The day's so nice. Oopsies. No, I was gonna just start off with saying, like, will you share a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
So my name is Giovanni. I'm from Hawaii, but moved here to Washington and went to school here. Once I graduated, maybe a couple years ago, just started work, and I've just been here ever since.
Ooh, ever since?
Yeah.
So you're quite a ways from where you grew up.
Yes, I am. So it's a little bit of a change, different, nothing bad, nothing good, something nice to see.
Yeah. What would you say is like one of the biggest differences from where you grew up to here?
Other than the weather, definitely the food and the community life. It's just a little different. The food over here, it's a little bit harder to kind of get accustomed to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my food back home is very like homemade and everything. So I never really got to go out as much. So over here, I got to try a lot more like food palettes. That was really interesting. And then other than the community, it's just a little bit different. Everyone's over here just doing their own thing, kind of like just have to push myself to beat the Seattle freeze. That's like constant.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So so it feels like there's less like togetherness.
Yeah.
Here.
So I think it's a little bit harder for me to find that knit community, especially outside of school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. I mean, that's kind of a big transition in itself, right? Because do you have any relatives around here, any family?
No, not really.
So it's just you.
Yeah, just me. I think the closest relative I got is in Canada, but that's about it.
Wow. And how's that? Like, is that like, I don't know, for anyone listening who could relate, like in terms of like moving away from family and being on your own, what was the challenges in that?
Moving away, I mean, back home in the islands, family is everything. So having to step back, move away for a little bit and kind of focus on myself was a little bit hard. It was a little bit different. And it's something I still struggle with even after being here for so many years.
Wow.
Time to time I'll go back home, but the majority of the time I'm here.
Yeah. What is the struggle in just not being around your family like that?
Definitely someone to talk to. Everyone back home, you know, as a Filipino community and family, it's just we always have something to talk about when we come home, whether it be something about work or anything that happened throughout the day. And being away from family too is you don't get to celebrate the holidays that you used to celebrate, especially with my family. It's such a big thing. We really celebrated like a lot of birthdays and a lot of holidays. So
it was always a big event with the family.
It was always a big event.
Gotcha.
And I had to go through birthdays too, which was a really big thing back home by myself, and it was just a really big transition.
Gosh, that can be tough. And in Filipino culture, you mentioned you're Filipino. Is that like a, I don't know, is that like something they do in their culture, you know? Like just like
yeah, sometimes, yeah. We're really big on just family events in general, whether it be Filipino environment or just being back home on Hawaii. It's just the community itself. We're just so strong, very strong. And we can just help one another like our own. It's so easy for us to do that, and we just take care of everybody. Wow. That's why it's a little bit different here, where everyone's kind of just doing their own thing.
Right. Yeah. Out here in Seattle. Yeah, I can see that. What do you look for, like, in terms of, like, when you look for a community? Like, what are some things you look for?
Definitely going to events helps with that. So when I get to meet people and talk to them about anything that's happening, just being able to relate maybe culturally can help too. Because then there's a click between that, you know? Like, then you get to share food with each other and go to events with each other.
I see what you're saying. So, like, in my head, I see what you're saying, because it kind of connects. So, like, with your family, right, back home on the islands, family events, holidays were big things. So when you come here and you try to build a sense of community, doing those events, like in part of building that community, I can see the overlap. Like,
Yeah.
I can help out with that connection.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why it's always good to get yourself out there. I mean, sometimes I can be a homebody, which is a little hard to make friends if you're just at home.
Yeah.
But I gotta push myself out there.
Wow, nice. And what is it? What calls on you to push yourself to go out? Like, I don't know, different people have different motivations to do that. Some people just stay as homebodies. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So, like, what pushes you to be like, you know what, I gotta find a connection? Because I feel like some people may just be like, I'm tired, I'm going back to the islands.
Yeah.
Have you had moments like that?
Had that moment all the time, a lot of the times, honestly. But I think that's the real motivation. Like friends like you that I've kept around for a long time is kind of what pushes me when I see you guys hang out with other friends and then kind of meet new people, and it makes me want to feel and meet new people as well. You know, just having my own little circle the same way that you do.
I like that. That's what's up. You're on your way. You're on your journey to get in that circle.
One little at a time.
When you think back to when you first came to what they call the mainland, or the state, what was like? I don't know. What was that feeling at that time? Was it excitement? Was it like, oh man, I'm leaving my family? Like, why didn't I just go to university on the islands, like University of Hawaii? Right? Is that one of them? Like, yeah.
Main thing is that I'm a first generation. So I'm the first in the family to kind of do that, especially
go to college
back. Yeah, like getting to graduate college or sometimes even high school too. So my family hasn't graduated high school.
Wow.
So just being outside of the state for a little bit and doing that all on my own too, with the help of my parents and some of my family, it was challenging. But definitely keeping in mind that I'm doing this for them too. I do want to move back home eventually when I settle down. But I'm out here kind of gaining that experience so that I can go back home, you know?
Okay. So you have it in your mind to go back home. And also, you mentioned, you're doing it for your family.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Like, what do you, like, what does that mean for you?
Well, my grandparents immigrated from Philippines to come to Hawaii. So my parents growing up in traditional Filipino household, you're always very instilled in working hard and making sure you take care of your family when, you know, either they pass on or you get your own family. So just constant idea of working hard and coming back around. Basically just making sure everybody takes care of everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just a big thing back home, just making sure we take care of each other.
Wow, I see. So this journey of getting your degree, going through college and stuff, it's not only for you, but it's like to pay respects to your grandparents.
Yeah.
And your parents for all that.
Wow.
Do they know that?
Yeah, I think in some way they do.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily talk about it too much because, you know, they're going to say, just do it for you. Just work on yourself. But for me, it's like a giving back to them for all the hard work that they've done for me.
Right.
And it's more of like a respect kind of thing. Like I definitely respect and appreciate everything that they've done for me and my family. So how can you pay back something so big?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a lot. But that's very cool, very awesome of you to have that in your mind. And it sounds like that's part of your motivation.
Yeah.
To do everything. Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow, that's awesome. Respect. Take some notes. I'm just playing, y'all. Everybody's got the different motivations, but I really appreciate you sharing yours and also sharing a little bit about your culture. What was like one of those big cultural shocks outside of like, people just doing their own thing and less of the togetherness? Was there anything else that really shocked you in terms of like coming from the islands to, here?
First thing I noticed was the way that I speak. I had to kind of tune it a little bit. Back home, there's this thing that we call pidgin, and it's a second language in Hawaii. Pidgin. It's a slang, basically, of a combination. You know how they had like a lot of plantation workers on Hawaii?
No, I didn't. There's a little education for all of us. I don't know who's watching that knows this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give a little bit of that, but then go back to the pidgin.
Oh, Hawaii had a lot of plantation workers from pulling out from like Japan and all the Polynesian islands, Philippines, and they didn't know how to talk to each other. So they spoke in this slang, this pidgin, basically. They created this language. So coming up here, I talk like that, and some of the things people will look at me funny, like, what did you say, or like, what does that mean? But I know they didn't mean well, but sometimes it makes me feel like I'm dumb or illiterate sometimes, like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Good lordy.
Yeah. So that was a big change too. So I had to really tune the way I talk to people sometimes.
Wow. Was that a simple transition? Was it kind of tough?
No, I think that was kind of tough, honestly.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
share some more. What was like tough? Like more on those on the challenges of that, because that sounds really hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I wanted to check with you. Yeah.
It is. I think it's hard for me to express excitement sometimes. That can be like a big thing too.
Because the pigeon talk will want to come out.
will want to come out.
The
slang will want to come out.
The slang, yeah.
And especially like how we are close to, like I want to be able to talk freely, or my accent as well. Like I have to like fix that. So I have to.
Are you doing that right now?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
So I kind of just have to settle down and think about what I'm saying first.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, how'd you move through? How'd you overcome that challenge of people just giving you different looks or making you feel some type of way that you didn't like feeling, but like, whether they meant it or not, they couldn't help it when you were doing it? How did that go?
I think that's where it comes into play, like the kind of friends that I have too. Making sure that sometimes I have friends from back home, and I do, so then it helps me ground myself a little bit. So that's really good. And then I'll have like other friends who may not have that culture, and that's fine, because then I get to learn from theirs as well. Right.
Nice. So having that relatability was helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang, man. Yeah, I never knew that. That's pretty wild. But that, I mean, like, I just learned a lot. I didn't know that they had their own. Well, I think I knew a little bit of like.
Yeah, you did.
What they known as island slang or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't know they call it pigeon talk. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And to know now that you're even polishing your talk right now, or I use that word, but like, changing it to meet the needs of the greater audience here, I guess. Basically. But when you go home, does it just come back?
It definitely comes straight out, like
right on, like you never left.
Yeah, we actually had this like whole event happen for like a Hawaii event here at the Seattle Center.
Yeah.
I was with my friends, and when I finally got to meet someone from the islands, they didn't understand what we were talking about because we had that language barrier.
Yeah.
So the person I was talking to, they knew exactly what I was talking about, but my friends were like, "Oh, what were you?
What's going on?"
Yeah, like what language is that?
Wow.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, it just clicked on me, but I mentioned this term in a different interview, but code switching. Technically, it sounds like you're code switching a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Nothing wrong with.
No, nothing wrong with code switching at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to talk to people a little bit different.
Adapt to the environment.
Yes.
Right on, man. Really appreciate your time, and I guess I don't know how much time do we have left.
We got 1 minute.
Oh my gosh, 1 minute. That was quick, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That's how I do it. 15 minutes. Bang, bang. Before we go ahead and close this interview, would you like to go ahead and share Real Talk. Would you like to go ahead and share to the audience maybe like a piece of advice, or maybe something that, that could help them with like going through the similar transition or challenges that you faced of like separating yourself from family, but in the overall scheme to get to do it for family? I don't know, but yeah, anything you want to leave them with?
Yeah, definitely keep your roots strong. Like keep yourself grounded and making sure you know who you are, and when you come to these new places and environments, that you stick that through and continue to be open-minded. Just learn new things. Learning new things is always the best, but never stray from who you are, and don't be afraid to be who you are.
Woo! That was powerful. Appreciate it, JoJo. Thank you so much. Wow. Everybody, that's right. Keep your roots strong. That really stuck out to me. That was strong. That was powerful. All right, peace. We out. And then I'm going to edit all of that exit part.